insulin affects over 100 different processes in your body, like autophagy, right? So it's not the not eating that's doing it. It's just that high insulin suppresses autophagy and it suppresses all these other functions in your body, and it suppresses the formation of ketones. Basically, you can think of it as forcing energy into cells. It doesn't allow it to come out of cells. So when your insulin level is up, you can't start using your fat as energy. So that's really all it is. It's just going to the classic metabolic state that we're supposed to be in. Our insulin can be nice and low. If we're not taking in carbohydrates, if we're not taking in sugar, then we make carbohydrates, we make blood sugar, we make glycogen, we make ketones, but they're at exacting levels. They're exactly where your body needs them.
Okay.
And you produce them on the fly for your body's demands. And then your insulin is nice and low. It's affecting because if you have just normal blood sugar and your insulin's at a 5, right? It's affecting all these other things, all these 100 other things at a 5. But then you eat a sandwich or have a piece of pie and it's up to 35. Right? Well, now your insulin's at a 35, affecting everything else at a 35. And I had a patient that came in 2 weeks ago to my office, and he had a fasting insulin of 72. It never should be above 9.
Okay.
Right?
Right. Wow,
So it was, and that's fasting, right? So what if this guy had a piece of cake? Like, what in God's name was that going to do? So it's
the
else
effects that you're seeing are similar to when somebody comes off just a shitty diet. If you go to vegetarian, you get all of these benefits because it's cut out everything, right? Same thing as going to meat. You cut out all the processed stuff. So if you're comparing keto to carbs, the fact that fasting to keto, the fact that you're fasting just mirrors what we do normally because we're not having that carb in our diet.
That's it.
So people have. So is this your theory that we have got the fasting wrong because it's just matching what we would naturally do, but people have seen that happens when we're fasting and not taking into account.
And so fasting and ketogenic are like mirroring. It's similar.
Yeah, that's it. So it's fasting. The main benefits of fasting is you're just not eating the wrong things. You're just not eating
because you're cutting out the carb. You're cutting everything out.
Okay.
Whereas if keto, you're just cutting out carbs, which are increasing our insulin.
Now I'm interested as well.
That's way easier to do is to eat keto than to not eat.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, and there's studies that say that.
Right.
Right. Because there are just tons and tons of studies on fasting that show all these benefits and population-wide things. People that fast for religious reasons, they tend to have lower rates of chronic disease and heart disease. They live longer, all these different sorts of benefits. When you have specific endpoints, like in diabetes, they showed that you could reverse diabetes type 1 and type 2 in rats by fasting for at least 4 days a month. And they said, okay, well, fasting is really difficult. What about a diet that mimics fasting? You can still eat, but you're still in that metabolic state. So this fasting mimicking diet, so FMD. So this is what it's called because ketogenic diet is a sort of a 4-letter word in a lot of academic circles. Right. So they hide it by saying, wow, we want to mimic fasting. So it's not a ketogenic diet. Oh no, it's a fasting mimicking diet, right? And it has exactly the same benefits as
what are
fasting.
What are the dangers of a keto diet? Because like if I was to eat keto from now for the next 6 months, is there any danger that I have of things that I'm going to be missing out from eating what I would normally eat? Because that's what scares me. I've got this app where it's a keto cycle app.
Yeah.
I quite like it because it gives you, my biggest issue is walking into a supermarket. I don't know what to buy. And this gives you a list of all the ingredients and then you've got the recipes, which is pretty sweet. And just like little snacks, like having smoked salmon with cucumber and some cream cheese. I was like, fuck yeah, this is hell killer. And it's allegedly good.
Allegedly.
So basically, back to that original question. What's
the dangers?
What's in it? And then what are the dangers?
Yeah. Well, so that's a good point because a ketogenic diet just means don't eat carbs. Okay. Right.
Which is sugars, which is anything.
Carbohydrates. So
it's everything tasty.
So you're not missing out on anything because there's no such thing as an essential carbohydrate. That's a well-established fact in medicine and biology. There's no such thing as an essential carbohydrate. You make carbohydrates.
Okay.
That's interesting. The making carbohydrates, but we'll come back to that.
Being Italian.
Yeah.
I would do that.
Yeah.
And just bread rollers in your cells,
ravioli.
And so that's it. It's just there's no such thing as an essential carbohydrate. There's no carbohydrates that you need. There are entire civilizations that go generation after generation after generation don't eat any carbohydrates. What carbohydrates were available when people were crossing the land bridge from Asia to North America during an ice age in the Arctic Circle. Nothing. There's nothing there except meat, right? So if we weren't able to survive on that without that, it's just impossible. Like we would be dead. They wouldn't have been able to cross it. So there's no such thing as an essential carbohydrate. You make all the carbohydrates you need. And in fact, you're better able to do it if you just leave your body alone and get on with it, because your insulin's nice and low and now you can mobilize it. So there are different kinds of ketogenic diet. Ketogenic diet just means don't eat carbs. And so depending on how you structure that, you could be missing something, right? You could do a vegetarian version of a ketogenic diet. You'd have to get a lot of plant fats and oils, and I don't know, drink, canola oil or something like that.
Would it be something like avocados and stuff? Would that be considered?
So you could do like avocados, wouldn't be much carbs in there. So if you wanted to do a sort of a vegetarian keto diet, you could. It would be more difficult to structure that to get enough energy, because you're replacing carbohydrates. You have to replace that with proteins and fats. And so that's a bit more difficult. Hey guys, just want to take a second to thank our sponsor, Carnivore Bar. I don't promote many products because honestly, all you need to be healthy is to just eat meat. For those times that you're out hiking, road tripping, or stuck at work and you want a nutritious snack that is just meat, fat, and salt if you want it, the Carnivore Bar is a great option. So I like this product not because it's just pure meat, but also because I want the carnivore market to thrive as well. And the more we support meat-only products, the more meat-only products there will be available in the mainstream. So if this sounds like something you'd like to get behind, check it out using my discount code Anthony to get 10% off, which also applies to subscriptions, giving you 25% off total. All right, thanks guys.
And would it be generally not great for your health because it's processed and it's vegetable seed oils and stuff like that?
I wouldn't. I don't think it's great.
Clearly, you wouldn't.
Yeah. But if you think about it, it's going to be much more difficult. You can easily fall into the trap of getting a bunch of processed crap and seed oils and all that sort of stuff. Yeah. And you're going to be very nutrient deficient, right? You're going to have to supplement heavily to get this. And you're getting all the plant toxins, all that sort of stuff. But all that aside, it's just going to be very difficult to get the amount of energy and nutrients that you need without heavy supplementation. But these studies, and there are literally thousands of studies on ketogenic diets, it's the most robustly studied diet in existence. No one has studied any diet more closely and at a higher level with randomized controlled trials, interventional trials in animals and humans than the ketogenic diet. All these saying that all the plant-based diets are most safe. No, it's survey studies saying this. Oh, what did you eat last year? I'm like, And they say they eat more plants and things like that. There's healthy user bias because people that are doing one thing that they think are healthy, they're going to do other things they think are healthy. Like they're not going to smoke. They're not going to have as much sugar. They're not going to eat as many calories and all these sorts of things. And you see this all throughout those sorts of studies. That people that eat more vegetables, first of all, they eat more vegetables compared to a processed food diet, and the processed food diets are largely plant-based anyway, so you're just doing that whole thing. But also, you have all these other sorts of healthy user bias sort of things as well. But those are survey studies; those are crap, right? There's nutritional epidemiology is garbage. You could do it well, but they tend to not. They tend to just do it in as slapdash of a way as possible. Like the nurses study is something that's quoted all over the place because of Walter Willett from Harvard, and he's a very, very influential guy. But he works with the Seventh-day Adventists, and they try to push this plant-based ideology. And so the nurses study, they have all these nurses, tens of thousands of nurses around the U.S. I know some of them, and they send them a survey every year and say, "Oh, what'd you eat last year?" It's like,
why nurses?
Oh, it's just that's the population they chose,
right?
And so they got all these nurses around the U.S. and they just say, hey, what did you eat last year? It's not, hey, can you track your meals for the next year?
Yeah.
It's, hey, try to remember all the meals you ate last year.
And they get embarrassed and they want to seem like they're doing the right thing. So they go, lots of veggies.
Yeah. Well, and that's it. And so the ones that are saying, more veggies, or they seem to be healthier than the other ones, but it's very inaccurate. Yeah. I mean, they're saying, first of all, the average male nurse was eating like 200 or 300 less calories than the average female nurse. I was like, really? And they were all eating like 1,200 to 1,400 calories. I'm like, I've seen most nurses take down about 1,400 calories of chocolate per shift. Yeah. So like, I don't know about that, but so it's very inaccurate. And that's the level of data for the plant-based studies, right?
Is that called, I think you just said it before, was it epidemiology?
Epidemiology,
when they just self-report.
It's, you're just looking at sort of big, broad, sort of, thing. You're
Nothing's
having a
controlled.
survey or something. Yeah, exactly. You're not. It's not an interventional trial. It's not an experiment. It's not experimental data. You're just it's sort of observation.
Oh, honey, that's an animal product, right? Well, it's actually, bee vomit, and they're just vomiting up concentrated nectar, okay, which comes from a plant. So if you want to get technical, it goes back, and it's not exactly an animal, but it's also sugar, okay. So there's more fructose